Nora, have you ever recognized someone after thinking you didn't know them?
I think so. Like on Halloween, my sister had this sheet on and was a ghost, and I I, I had no idea it was her, and like I thought like I had left my laundry there too long, and it was just bad laundry walking around, and then she took the sheet off, and there she was.
Okay, well that's not exactly what I'm talking about. I was thinking maybe I could show you a little movie and that would help. Do you want to watch a
Oh,
movie?
oh, movie, yeah, movie would be
All right,
great. Uh-huh.
see if I can get it up here for you. Uh, let's see, can you see it?
Yep.
All right.
Looks like
So
cool Legos.
yeah. So I'm gonna tell you a little story. Um, all right. So these two guys, they were out on a walk and they're gonna go from Jerusalem to Emmaus. It's 7 miles. It's a long walk, and they're chatting with each other. And this guy comes up and joins them and is like, "What are you chatting about? Like, what's going on?" And they don't know the guy at all. And they're just like, what's up with you? Like, don't you know like what's happening in the world? And so their faces are downcast and they're telling him about what's been happening in Jerusalem. And he's
Hmm.
just kind of standing there confused. And so they're like, Jesus was a prophet and a teacher, and he was preaching and powerful. And so the authorities got mad and they came and they arrested him and took him away. And then they killed him on a cross. And then they laid him in a tomb. And then 3 days later, Mary came to find him, and the tomb was empty. And so she ran away and told all the disciples what was happening. And then so they kept going, and they had a meal with this guy. And as they were eating with him, they realized this just wasn't any guy, this was Jesus. So they had been walking and talking with Jesus, and they didn't recognize him until they had a meal with him. And then they had to run back and let the disciples know that they had seen Jesus. Like, they had no idea that they had been walking with Jesus. So, see, in that story, the disciples don't recognize Jesus until they have a meal with him. And I guess it's not so much about recognizing Jesus as it is kind of understanding something different about someone they were with. And the really important part of the story is that they were eating together. And that's actually a really important part of the Christian tradition. Do you know what that's called?
That's communion.
Right, communion. So, what do you know about communion?
Uh, People have something to eat. It's usually bread and like juice or something like that.
Yeah, so we, in church, we take bread and we break it and we give thanks and bless it. And we remember Jesus eating with disciples, and we take our juice and we pour it, and we have little cups of juice that we drink, and we do that together. And it reminds us of who Jesus is, but it also reminds us that we are beloved children of God.
And what about when you just have a meal at home with like usually your family? What about that?
Well, that's the really cool thing. You don't have to be at church for it to be
Mm.
communion, right? You can think about Jesus, and you can think about Jesus eating with people anytime you sit down with other people. It's a good reminder and practice that we can do while we're at home to remember the story and the love of Jesus and God.
That sort of reminds me of a song I know.
Oh, really? Will you play it for us?
Surely will. Just a sec. Here I go. Pretty simple. You
All
might know
right.
it. Let us break bread together on our knees. Let us break bread together on our knees. When I fall down on my knees with my face to the rising sun, oh Lord, have mercy on me.
Hey,
Hey,
that's a great song. Thanks, Nora. I think we did pretty well. I think it's probably time for us to say goodbye, and we will see everybody next week. So can you say goodbye?
Bye. See you next time.
Bye.